Hi guys, welcome to Wild Mapper, the mapping YouTube channel that's amazing. And today we will look into a scenario in which China invades India for the second time, because they invaded them in the 60s. China, after claiming India shot their soldiers in this area. Which is false. India states it's false. China states it's accurate. China calls on its allies, or the Quad, which has Japan, Australia, and the United States. Britain joins the war. And so far, this is the war. Pakistani forces, too. Along with Pakistani forces, China and Pakistan push into Kashmir. Which they do so successfully. Which has India pushed back significantly. And more pushing into this area is made by Pakistan. Chinese forces push down here. Do you know Bhutan barely recognizes any countries? And they push into this region, which goes to success, with India taking more lands. No, China. Some forces arrive in India. They manage to push Pakistan back in the south. It goes pretty well. They even make some gains in the southern Pakistan. And they push up. And China continues their push into this land. They take the land, which is a significant land gain. Indian forces arrive near Pakistan, city of Karachi. And there is a big port that was built by China in that area too. The Battle of Karachi has broken out with small advances. The city holds out. But the amount of forces needed to hold back there leads to a pushback in Kashmir, which looks mostly like this. And they push up to here. And it's at this time, well, since most of Kanzuk is involved in this war, the rest of Kanzuk gets involved. Well, China gets Myanmar involved and North Korea joins. And the Battle of Karachi continues, with troops up here encircling this area and pushing in. Troops start pushing around the city. American forces land here. Which is pretty useful. They push over to here, and then they push up. Well, China has a bunch of allies left, which Cambodia and Laos join. Not many gains are made in this part of the war, but China does push forward. Well, they make it to the coast. Which is not good because it leads to a bigger front. Which leads to a bit of reorganization, which does not go too well. They manage to hold the area around, well, Karachi, but they get pushed back in many other regions, including the north. And then they have their troops reorganized. Afghanistan joins on the side of Pakistan. According to Iran, American forces have attacked it. America denies it, but Iran says they did. And Iran declares war. But American troops were prepared. Which leads to this war getting an even greater impact. Saudi Arabia gets involved with its biggest allies. Israel gets involved. Turkey gets involved because because these countries get involved, then this. And they push into Palestine. Well, Turkey gets pretty far into Syria because they already occupied a big chunk of the north. Arab allies of America push in. Egypt is an American ally but stays neutral. Well, at this time, Azerbaijan gets involved because Turkey tells them to. Iran isn't prepared for a war. American Saudi Arabian troops from the UAE, mostly UAE troops with a bit of Saudi Arabian support, managed to land in Iran. And along with American forces, hook up. And they push down. They push up. Which is not too good. Karachi gets pushed into. And they push up in it, taking the northern part of the city. Eventually. And then they take this part of it. And then they push in. And the rest of Karachi falls. Which leads to troops getting pushed back here. And they push up. South of Islamabad. And they completely collapse. These area encirclements fall. And that falls. And a push up towards Islamabad, which goes to success, gets to Islamabad, and then kind of takes the city. Which leads to Pakistan kind of falling. Well, China pushes into this part of Pakistan. But this is where the plan starts to not go well because America gets its allies involved. Malaysia, Brunei, Thailand, Vietnam involved. Philippines involved. Taiwan involved and South Korea involved. Which does not go well, because this was not expected in the South. Which leads to a big pushback. They push up to here. Which leads to a withdrawal of troops from this front. And with Pakistan kind of taken out, it leads to this area falling. And then this is the front lines. With American troops already in South Korea, they managed to sweep right through North Korea. And they push up into the north. And they go into Manchukuo. Before any troops can get to Manchukuo, they have it cut off. And they take Manchukuo. But that's as far as they get. Pro-Taiwanese forces break out here. Which leads to kind of civil war. They push in. Which allows China has to withdraw troops from this area, pulling themselves to here. And they get pushed back here. Which severely lowers morale. Afghanistan just kind of leaves the war. No, I have to deal with. And China also had to pull back troops from Kashmir, which thus opens the door for an invasion of their occupied area. And they push into it, taking it. There's also rebellions in Tibet, in this area. And Xinjiang has rebellions, which are pro-Western. Which push in. Tibetan rebels push in too. China heads into crisis mode. Iran with no support at all because, well, China now is unable to help them because China has kind of fallen into a civil war. They are kicked out of Iraq, then their oil-rich region gets taken by the Americans. Seems to be a repetitive thing. Americans invade where oil is. Iran starts running low on oil. And if you're low on oil, it doesn't go well. Iran has very low morale. They fall because, well, they surrender to avoid what happened to China from happening. And just like the collapse of China video, looks like China is collapsing again. How many videos have I put rebels in? Well, that's crazy. And comments are great for suggestions. Suggest stuff in the comments box. And this is where Beijing is kind of just taken because, well, are unable to fight anymore. Well, Tibet, with support from the Western team in Xinjiang, managed to make major gains. The Republic of China makes massive gains. China, for some unknown reason, kind of just... Mongolia joins the war and invades Inner Mongolia. And China at this point is very unstable. Kind of collapses, allowing bigger gains by Tibet. Big gains are made by East Turkestan. Mongolia makes significant gains in the north. And the Republic of China makes significant gains. Well, the biggest gains. This is where the treaty is signed. India will annex these lands. Which are pretty significant. India will also annex these lands. In these lands. Xinjiang takes these lands. Tibet takes these lands. Mongolia takes these lands. Or Inner Mongolia. Korea annexes these lands. This is what the Republic of China has been reduced to. Well, it's much more stable. With most of its diverse areas gone, but it's also bad because that's where all the resources are. And Xinjiang is independent. That's the Treaty of Beijing. Which also states everybody that declared war on China will get war reparations. Well, the treaty is a success for some nations more than others. And then they go to the Treaty of Bangkok. And which is signed between the nations of Southeast Asia. And in it, Thailand takes these lands. And these lands. India takes these lands. Oh. And Thailand annexes their lands. It's no big problems at all. India annexes these lands. And now it's the Treaty of Riyadh, which is the treaty for the Middle East. And Iran won't like it. And that's foreshadowing. Well, the Lurs get independence and the Arabs. The Americans take this oil-rich region because Americans love oil. This area is ethnically different, so it gets independence. The UAE annexes these lands. Oman annexes these lands. These lands where the Turkmenids live get independence. Turkey gets these lands. The Lurs get independence. And this is a different area of Iran. Look. And all the new countries made out of Iran. Turkey gets a big chunk of land. Although Turkey and Saudi Arabia don't have very good ruling. Kuwait gets... America takes these lands. Kuwait gets land. Saudi Arabia gets land. The Lurs get more land, even though I don't know if there's Lurs in Iraq. And Turkey takes these lands. Jordan takes these lands. Israel takes those lands. This definitely is not a controversial treaty. Not like Iraq is gone. Right, America? Okay. I ran away. You know where Iran went? It's now Persia, but you want to know where Iran went? Iran ran away. What do you think? Do you think Iran ran away, or do you think Oman got big? Or do you think we should go to Yemen and be like, Yemen, what's up? Yemen, what's up? Yemen, what's up? Hey, as if Syria will care that they lost more land than... got a more unfair treaty than the Treaty of Trianon. No, actually, that's probably more fair than the Treaty of Trianon. They still have coast. And now, the full scenario is over. And this is how I think the scenario would play out if China invaded India. Unlike the 60s, there was intervention. If you have any ideas for other videos in the future for me to make, please leave a comment with the idea. Or don't. But I recommend you should leave an idea in the comments box, because the comments box is just awesome. Also, we're on our way to 100 subscribers. We have 75 to go. Again. Aww. But yeah, we can get up to 100. Before August 1st, we will hit 100. It's not like it's July 15th. And hopefully you enjoyed this video and watched the full way through so you can hear this. Capybaras rule the waves. And if they don't, well, that's just sad if you don't think capybaras are amazing. And that's it. Wild Mapper out with the wild. Because I'm gone into the wild now. Because I'm Wild Mapper. Bye. Wild Mapper out.